Freefrommers. So I'm really excited to share with you today hot cross buns recipe. Okay, I have tested this recipe and it is fabulous. All right, so I'm really excited to share this with you today. Now it's a combination of Danielle Walker's blender bread that we've made before and a Mary Berry recipe. Mary Berry is a famous baker here in the UK. So I've kind of amalgamated the two recipes and made this hot cross buns, and I've seen lots of recipes for hot cross muffins when you're looking at Freefrom, but no hot cross buns on Pinterest. So I'm really very proud to announce that these are, hot cross buns. In fact, I've just finished eating one. So we're going to start then with the blender bread. So we're just going to quickly put all these ingredients together because you've seen this before, and obviously it's in a separate video, but if you've not seen the other video and you just want to go with this video, then we're going to go through the same process, all right? So if you want to just fast forward through the bread bit, if you know what you're doing, that's totally fine. So we're starting with all of those bread ingredients. Now you will see here an array of ingredients because I've got everything set up ready. So we've got 8 eggs. Then we have half a cup of nut milk. So as we made it before, all the wet ingredients in first. Half a cup of nut milk. Then we've got 4 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So, apple cider vinegar, 4 teaspoons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going for 3 cups of nuts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 cups of ground almonds, almond flour, and 1 cup of cashews, because it makes the right taste basically. I just want to show you today as well the difference between almond flour and ground almonds here in the UK. So I'll quickly just show you the consistency. These are the ground almonds, so you can see there the bits that stick to my finger, all right? And you can see in there it's fairly coarse for flour. It's quite coarse, so that's what ground almonds look like. Now later on, when we come towards the end of this recipe, we are going to be using almond flour. This is a very different consistency, and you will see it is just like flour. So I'm just going to touch it here so you can see there it's just a powder. Okay, and when I move it, it's really fine. So when you look in there, it's even a different colour. All right, so that's almond flour, and that's what we're going to be using to put the cross on the recipe, so on the bun. So if you don't have any almond flour, don't worry about it. You don't have to have the cross on it. But this is what we're making the cross out of later, that and water. So I picked mine up from a Whole Foods shop in Leicester. So that was my almond flour bag, and I've got that so that I can do things like this and make chicken nuggets and fish fingers. So they'll be coming up in the future. So that's the difference between ground almonds and almond flour here in the UK. So let's get back to it. We have ground almonds here, so you can of course use almond flour. 1 cup of ground almonds or almond flour. Okay, 2 cups. So 2 cups of ground almonds and 1 cup of cashews. 7 tablespoons of coconut flour. You have to bear with me because I've got hiccups now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we've got 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Sorry, bicarbonate soda, baking soda, because obviously we want it gluten-free. So that's the bread recipe all in. That's everything for the bread. Excuse me, sorry, hiccups. And my dog whining in the background. So that's all that we have in for the bread recipe. That's all of those ingredients that are normal. Now this is where it changes for hot cross buns. So we've got ground mixed spice, and we're going to put in 2.5 teaspoons. So 1, 2, 1.5. And then we've got cinnamon. So we're going to put 1.5 of cinnamon. Now the mixed spice is the key ingredient here. This is what makes it taste like hot cross buns. So there we have it with the spices. Now we're going to pop in the honey. So 1/4 cup of honey, because we do want this to be sweeter than normal bread. So in the normal recipe there isn't any honey for the bread because you use it for savouries. And when I made the bread, I did say that you could make this into a fruit bread, and you can, clearly. It's very adaptable. So there we go. We need to pop the salt in from the bread recipe, and that is 1 teaspoon of salt. There we go, that'll be about right. We're going to put some lemon rind and orange rind in. And because you don't want to waste this, you can just pop it in the freezer as it is, or you can juice it and pop the juice in the freezer, or you can make juice ice cubes out of it, so you could pop that juice into ice cubes and then save that for later. So that's your lemon. Now this is a large lemon that I've got here, so it's the rind basically of 1 large lemon. If you've got small lemons, then probably do a couple. Hiccups are still with us. Right, so we're going to do the orange next. So that's the orange zested, and I should just eat that now after my lunch. And then we're going to pop in all of this lovely citrus rind that's going to give us some beautiful flavour. So there we have it. That's all of the ingredients that we're going to put in for now. The rest, the dried fruit that's going to go in is going to go in afterwards, because obviously I don't want to whiz up the dried fruit, because then we'll lose the big chunks of sultanas and apricots that we're going to put in. So I'm now going to zip this in the Vitamix. So we've got all of that whizzed up together. All right, now what we're going to do is add in the dried fruit, and we're going for sultanas, excuse me, sorry, still hiccups, sultanas and dried apricots. Now the dried apricots have got nothing added to them, they're just lovely, yummy apricots, and we're going to chop them up into little pieces. Now how big you want these pieces is really up to you. So if you want great big pieces of apricot in your hot cross bun, then go for it. If you don't want any apricot, you don't have to have it. You can just put sultanas in or put your dried fruit in of your choice. So I want these pieces quite small, about the size of mixed peel. So just quite small. So here we have 70 grams of dried apricots with nothing added, no sugar, no nothing. So 70 grams of dried apricots. So we're going to pop them straight in there. Now you can transfer this into a bowl if you want, but I'm cutting down on the washing up, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it in there. And because of the godsend of digital scales, I am now going to add 150 grams of sultanas. Now again, this is down to personal preference. These are the same, these are just sultanas. I'm just finishing off the last one before opening the new one. So there we go. It's personal preference how much dried fruit you want in your hot cross bun. So I've got all of that in there. Now obviously I'm not going to blitz this, I'm going to mix it by hand. I need to get down the bottom, make sure that all the pieces get all the way through. Now you can smell coming from this, or I can smell, you can't. I can smell the citrus coming through, so I can smell the orange and the lemon, I can smell the spices. So you're getting that wonderful hot cross bun smell coming up from it already, and it's not even cooking yet. Honestly, you are gonna love these, and they freeze fantastic. Now is the moment of truth. This is a loose mixture. It's just loose and sloppy. So there is no dough element to this at all. So all we're going to do, and you can use a spoon for this if you want to, I'm going to dollop kind of round shapes onto the silicone mat. Now how big or small you want these is obviously up to you. They do grow a little bit in the oven. So they spread a bit and they rise a bit. And the bigger and thicker that you do these, the longer they're going to take to cook. So I'm going to try and do them all about the same size. Now they're roughly the same size. So what we're going to do next is put the cross on for the hot cross bun. So we're going to make the mixture that does that. Now, I'm going to use this little mixing bowl, about 2 tablespoons of the almond flour. So not the ground almonds. The ground almonds won't work with this, it's too rough. So we need superfine almond flour. All right, so we're going to mix this with some water. Now the consistency that we want it to be quite kind of runny, so I'll just show you in a second how runny we're looking for. So in here we had 2 tablespoons of the almond flour, the superfine almond flour, and there's about 4 tablespoons of water in there. That is about the consistency that we're looking for. So it's like a runny yogurt. Don't you just love hiccups? So we want it kind of just dropping off the spoon. Now, I have tried the Ziploc bag technique where you cut off the corner and pipe it, but it didn't really work for me. My Ziploc bags don't have proper corners. They have like these weird corners. So it didn't work. But I just dribble it on with a spoon. So here we are, we're going to literally just take it from the spoon and we're going to dribble it across. If you're a bit of a perfectionist, you might want to get a piping bag, but obviously you know I'm not. So I'm just going to slide it across there and just kind of push it into the mixture a little bit. It doesn't really spread when you're going, when it's cooking. So just slide it across there. And obviously it makes for a big fat cross. So there we have the first tray of hot cross buns. I've probably got about another 6 in there in the Vitamix ready to put on this tray. I'm going to pop these in the oven. So we're going to cook these at, I'm going to cook them at 150 because I've got a fan oven. If you don't have a fan oven, you're cooking them at 170 or 325 or gas mark 3. So we're going to cook them for about 15 minutes and then we're going to have a check, okay? Okay, so it's been 18 minutes and I checked them at 15 minutes. I just turned them around because for some reason my oven doesn't burn evenly. So I'm just going to get them out now because I believe that they are going to be about perfect. There we have the hot cross buns. They look great. So now what we need to do is coat them with a little bit of honey mixed with water. We just want a runny honey mixture. Now if you just use honey on its own, it will be too sticky, so we have to dilute it with some water. So these are still hot, all right? I've literally just taken them off of the tray from the sheet, all right? Now what I've got here is just under 2 tablespoons of honey. Now I have heated it so it's really runny. When you allow it to cool, it thickens up again, and then when you're trying to pick up your buns, you're getting really sticky, so it's just really not good. So we're going to add I've got about 2 tablespoons of honey there, and I've put about a tablespoon of water in. So it's now diluted it by 50%. So we've got this nice watery honey mixture, and we're just going to brush it over the hot cross buns. Now this isn't going to be enough to make them soggy, but it is going to be enough to give them that beautiful shiny glaze. And what it does as well, this cross that you've put on, it gives it some flavour. Because it's just flour and water, as is a normal hot cross bun, it's just flour and water. On a normal hot cross bun they put golden syrup on the top, and obviously we're not using refined sugars, so we're using honey, which gives a beautiful flavour. You know, if you use a really good honey on the top of this, then it's going to give you that lovely flavour. You can see already the shine that's coming to these. So yeah, I made the almond flour mix for the crosses, and I hadn't got quite enough. So either if you use a piping bag, I suspect you'd use less. But if you just use a spoon method like I used, you might need to add a bit more, or you could just leave them plain. I only had, there's another 7 in the oven now, and 2 of them haven't got crosses on. One I've put a little circle on. You could even, if you're quite artistic, you could do bunnies or chicks or whatever you want to do for Easter, or a shape of an egg. You could even do the hot cross buns in the shape of an egg. So there we have it. We're going to leave them to cool now. And then we're going to come back once they've cooled and we'll do the cheeky taste test, and I'll talk to you about how well they freeze. See you soon. So take a look at this beautiful sight. Now you can see there the 2 on the end that I ran out of the white mixture for. So that also means that these are not just hot cross buns, these are fruit buns that you can have all year round, and who doesn't love a fruit tea cake? So you can see the glaze, they're all glazed. And now we're going to do a cheeky taste test. Okay, so here we go. It's still a little bit warm. Now, I have the last batch I made, the first batch I made is the recipe. So I was just very lucky that it turned out one try and it was hot cross buns, which is great. So I'm going to cut this in half and put some lovely butter on it, and then show you what the insides look like. These are soft and fluffy. Just having to watch while I cut this because it's a steak knife that I put in my hand as opposed to a bread knife. Okay, so just a little bit poking out the side there. Okay. Oh, this is good. Look at all of that. It's all falling out. Look at all that lovely filling inside. Okay, don't try this at home or your fruit will fall out. So we've got in there the sultanas and apricots, and what we're going to do is pop some butter on this. You could just eat them like this. They are sweet enough and they're moist enough. They're light and fluffy. So not shy with the butter, because we like butter. So here we go, cheeky taste test. So nice when it's warm. It just kind of melts in your mouth. So good. You know, I've eaten so many of these this week, and I've eaten them in lots of different ways. So I'm just eating a bit of that white crust stuff, and it's sweet and smooth. It's really nice. Look at those beautiful chunks of apricot. So good. So yeah, I've eaten a lot of these this week in lots of different ways. I've eaten them as soon as they've come out of the oven. I have eaten them after they've been frozen. So I've frozen them, defrosted them, and eaten them just plain. And with butter, I've eaten them toasted, toasted from fresh, toasted from the microwave, and I've usually had them with quite a lot of butter. Okay, so that is hot cross buns. The recipe will follow at the end of the video, and it should be underneath the video as well in the drop down bit. So I hope you really enjoy this Easter hot cross buns that are gluten-free, dairy-free, as long as you don't have the butter obviously, and yeah, they're just not taste-free, they are full of taste. So enjoy them. Happy Easter to all of you lovely followers. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm really glad you're enjoying them. If you'd like a video that you'd like me to do, then just say and suggest it. That's absolutely fine. I've got some coleslaw coming up next week, and because somebody's asked for that, so I'm going to do that. So like, comment, share, and enjoy making your hot cross buns if you give them a go. See you next time in the kitchen.